Hello traders at CMC Markets. This is Trevor Neil, analyst at RRG Research. I'm recording this weekly update for CMC on the Friday the 15th of March. Today we're going to look at home in on the Magnificent Seven, which has been the driver of the driver with the Nasdaq of the US stock market, which is outperforming everything else in the world. But some developments here, some deterioration in the momentum of that, and I want to discuss that. And we see that the constituents are splitting apart. There are some which are actually quite bearish, and some which are rampant and continuing to go like missiles. So the Magnificent Seven is narrowing down to about the Magnificent Three, in fact. So let's have a look at all this. We will also look at Brent crude oil, and we'll look at gold. So here is the Magnificent Seven as a index, and you can see that of course we're going up, and the 50 is well above the 200-day moving average. We're in a strong uptrend which continues. We've got higher lows, very definition of an uptrend. But what's worrying me is that we've got this deterioration going on in the MACD, downward slope there, and also in the RSI. So we've got loss of momentum, not falling away, but loss of momentum, and that's because we've got really quite sudden split in the direction on a relative basis of the constituents. Now here's what I mean. We can see that in the leading quadrant we've got Nvidia shooting away there. We've got Meta doing quite well, just a little bit of edge coming off it there. Amazon heading very much in the right direction and in the leading quadrant, although further to the left. Got Microsoft in the weakening quadrant, close to the benchmark, which is the S&P incidentally. Well, Google in the lagging quadrant, Apple too, and Tesla looking really bad in the and heading southwest, furthest to the left here in the lagging quadrant. So we're going to look at these and pick out a couple of them which might be presenting opportunities, and maybe also an opportunity for a pairs trade, a long and a short. First, the Nvidia, of course, the perennially strong one of the sector, still the case. Little bit of easing back in the last few sessions, easing back here we see on the RSI at 56. I'll come back to that in a moment. On the MACD, it's close to actually crossing. Now this is AMD, and despite its position on the RRG, we saw that hooking around in the RRG, and you can see what it is. What's going on here. We pulled back quite hard from above 220 back down to the support at 182, and now you can't say it's actually holding there at the moment. The MACD has crossed and it's down at the moment, and the RSI is very weak indeed. So it's likely that it's going to find support here, but it has got momentum on the downside, and it could easily go lower. So I would expect that it is probably going to stabilize around here, but that it hasn't happened yet. So I'd like to see some reversal around this level. Certainly I want to see it above the 162 level, otherwise we've really changed direction. I would like to see the RSI come up through 50 from below to say that this reaction is complete, and it's another one of these occasions. So we're setting up here, I think, for something slightly ahead of us, but we don't want to try and catch this falling knife. Now one I do is in the leading quadrant is Amazon. Amazon has had a little pause. The RSI has come down below 50, down to 43, and then up through 50 again. That's, for me, is in a strong bull market, is a completed reaction. So yesterday would have been the day before yesterday would have been the best place to do it. Another trigger is the downtrend in the RSI breaking. That's a little bit ahead of us. That would be take us to highs, but what I think is a pull for the market is the all-time high, which is just up here. So we're not that far away from it. We're 178, it's 188, and I think that's a magnet for it. The MACD is declining, and the MACD line is below the signal line, but it's moving towards it, so that longer term and slower indicator is probably going to follow through too. The good thing about this is we've got an obvious support level for protection around the 170, 169 level. Again here, another support level if you want a wider one around 165, and you definitely don't want it to return inside this gap here, because then it's definitely changed direction. But this now, another one which is giving us an opportunity right now, not the perfect one, which is the break, but it is a break to new high. And so I think this is happening now. It is happening right now, and we're now supported at this previous high here at 420, but crucially we're supported at 398. And the MACD has crossed, so that lagging but good trend following and tracking indicator tells us that this pause is over. The RSI is strong. It has just broken its downtrend line. That's a trigger that I like. It's also come up through 50 to tell us that the reaction is complete. I think we can head strongly upwards from here. It's in a good place in the RRG as well, and it's not so overextended on a relative basis as some of the others. And we've got a nice reasonable protective level. So I like this one, and so along with the other two. Apple, by the way, is looking poor, but not as poor as Tesla. Tesla's breaking down really badly here again now. The MACD turned over here. We had this pullback here, but it was a very weak pullback in this downtrend line here. We've broken through the February low, and it's going down. The gap is widening, the momentum is increasing on that. The RSI is very weak, a low reading and pointing downwards. It's very weak. This is still the daily chart, but it's just showing you where the big picture for this. We've got a huge amount of resistance above now, which is by breaking this low, the February low, we've added another level of resistance. We've got some support at 153, but honestly, I think that where we are really headed is back here to this January 2023 level of 100. And so we have to see this quite good support at 150, but we're heading towards it with good momentum. But the problem is that you're selling into a market which is going down and the momentum is increasing. Gold, we picked that up very well. This is my old line here. Around in here had recovered from below 50%, but had broken the downtrend line in the RSI, and so that was the first signal. Then the second signal was breaking through the resistance, which I never saw as a spike here at 2,100. I saw it here at 2,080, and that was the second level. And of course we've got a very strong picture from the MACD, but hooking over now because of this little consolidation here, and it's a very small one so far. It's correcting, but I'd like to see this correct to below 50 on the RSI to show that it's really unwound the froth. But something which is really like a lot is Brent crude. Now here's a somewhat squashed up picture of Brent crude. I'll go into more detail in a moment, but I just want to show the context. You can see, I'm sure, that the market has formed an ascending triangle here. We've got very good higher lows here. We've got highs in here. We've broken that. There's a daily chart, and then we've come back to the break point. Above us, we've got resistance, but we've got a massive amount of support below us now, multi-year support. Now, this breaking of this level here puts a lot of price action below us. We've got comparatively little above us here. It is quite a lot, but it's nothing compared to the support that we've got. This breakout's important. The next resistance level is at 88, then it will be 93, and then the high here at 97. But I think this is a major break, and let's zoom in a little bit on it. So here we are, where you can see this triangle breakout. Ascending triangles usually have very powerful moves because it's got a horizontal top, and that means it's a long time since we were trading above this 85 level. So it's broken up on the MACD here, and the RSI has broken its trend line and come up from below 50 here. We've also broken the highs here. I think this is the start of it. All right, thank you very much indeed, everybody. I hope you find this useful and beneficial. I wish you the very best. This is Trevor Neil, analyst at RRG Research. May the trend be with you. Goodbye.